A long time ago, a really smart guy told me that the technology we see in the civilian sector is about 30 years behind what they're using in these, whatever you want to call them, black projects, USAPs, unacknowledged special access programs, whatever you want to call them. These top secret, compartmentalized, DARPA type financed research. So when you see something in Wired magazine that says there's a prototype, it's a pretty safe bet that it's not just a prototype for certain individuals that run in certain circles. People want me to talk about the debate last night, so this is what I want to talk about instead. The display of the future might be in your contact lens. Mojo Vision's prototypes can enhance your vision or show you your schedule right from the surface of your eyes. A glance to the left, a flick to the right. As my eyes flitted around the room, I moved through a virtual interface only visible to me, scrolling through a calendar, looking up the commute times home, and even controlling music playback. All I theoretically need to do is use Mojo Lens, a smart contact lens company coming from a company called Mojo Vision. The California-based company, which has been quiet about what it's been working on for 5 years, has finally shared its plan for the world's first true smart contact lens. Now, let's park it right there. They've been working on this technology for 5 years at the time that they make this Wired.com article. That's 5 years that they are willing to talk about. But let's be clear, this is not a product you'll see on the store shelves next autumn. It's very interesting that they say that because the first debate is pretty early in autumn, and it seems like they're trying to be specific that it's not going to be out by the end of the year. For anybody who's wondering if it is, just put that to bed now. A little strange, right? It is in the research and development phase, a few years away from becoming a real product. So what they're claiming is that this company's been working on it for 5 years already. It's going to take a few years more, looking at like an 8 to 10 year investment. The only way you're going to be able to do that is with government financing. No way investors are going to be pumping money into a company on holographic contact lenses for 10 years and not see any product. No way private investors are doing that. This sounds like a low-key government contract to me. In fact, the demos I tried did not even involve me plopping on a contact lens. They used virtual reality headsets and held up bulky prototypes to my eye as though I was Sherlock Holmes with a magnifying glass. Mojo Vision is all about invisible computing. The company, whose founders include industry veterans from the likes of Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all companies aligned against who and what? Wants to reduce our reliance on screens. Well, isn't that nice of them? Instead of pulling out your phone to check why it buzzed in the middle of a conversation, when half the time it didn't, look to the corner of your eye to activate an interface that will tell you in a split second. We want to create a technology that lets you be you. Lets you look like you. Doesn't change your appearance. It doesn't make you act weird walking down the street, said Mike Weimer, co-founder and chief technology officer at Mojo Vision. It's very discreet, and frankly, substantially, most of the time, it doesn't show you anything. Making smart contact lenses is no simple task, though. Even Alphabet's Verily subsidiary had to refocus its smart lens program after hitting a few snags. You need to have the right sensors at the right sizes, the power to make it all work, and a display and image sensor too. These sensors range from custom wireless radios to motion sensors for eye tracking and image stabilization. The folks at Mojo Vision showed me prototype contact lenses with an embedded display. The screen was, amazingly, about the size of a dot from an ink pen. They say it's the smallest, densest display ever made, but they didn't have a version with all the sensors inside yet. I looked through the prototype, and as expected, I saw text hovering over the real world. It's not dissimilar from my experience using augmented reality eyewear like Google Glass or Focals, the smart eyeglasses from North. Except Focals projects its interface to the glasses, whereas Mojo Vision's contacts have the display integrated into the contact lens. At the moment, the lens receives power via a wearable you wear on your wrist, which also handles much of the computing. Eventually, Weimer said, he thinks the team might drop the wearable in favor of a smartphone-based solution. Nevertheless, the possibilities are wide-reaching. I donned an HTC Vive Pro virtual reality headset outfitted with eye-tracking technology to get an early experience of what wearing Mojo lenses will be like. If you're looking straight ahead while wearing the lens, you won't see anything visually disrupting. But peek to a corner in any direction and you'll see icons pop up, ranging from a calendar, weather, notifications, music playback, and more. Stare at the arrow next to these icons to expand them even further to see more details, like a 3-day forecast, for example, or all your calendar events for the day. It took me about a minute to figure out how to navigate the interface. It could all change at any moment, but it's promising to see just how simple it is to use. Well, it would need to be simple, wouldn't it? One of my favorite demo apps is Speech. Using only my eyes, I opened a pre-written speech, scrolled through it, and read it aloud. This app alone opens up a myriad of possibilities. Imagine sitting in a taped interview, but instead of looking at your notes, you can pull up your next question with a flick of your eyes without having to look down. Or if you're filming a video, you may not need to shoot multiple takes because of the script in the dead center of your eye. Who needs teleprompters? Who needs teleprompters with this technology? Who needs them? What the hell did I do an hour-long video on them for? To those around you, it can be obvious when you're using the contact lens. To pull up the interface, you need to look at the corner of your eye, something that's noticeable when someone is staring at you straight on, but it's far more invisible than taking out your phone or checking your watch. Alerts and notifications will also pop up sparingly, though I expect there'd be a way to control all of that down the road. They showed him a contact lens that had everything on it except for the sensors. You could already see it being displayed on the contact lens. They showed him the wearable that they use to power and compute the contact lens, which, interestingly enough, goes around your wrist. And the one app that they had him try was an app called Speech that eliminates the use of teleprompters for people who need teleprompters. The last episode that I did, I showed you how teleprompters have become so advanced that they can hold databases of stored answers to all kinds of questions. And all it would take is for the teleprompter operator to be quick enough after they hear the question be asked to pull up the generic response to those questions and show them to whoever is reading the teleprompter. This takes the need for a teleprompter out. It would give away a wearable on the wrist. And it causes your eyes to look black. Now, can somebody tell me whose eyes looked black? The lens will sit right on the cornea. And Ashley Ton, Vice President of Medical Devices at Mojo Vision, tells me it will be just like wearing normal contacts. The team calculated the lumen's projection on the retina and found that everything is way under the regulation in terms of safety standards. It's a new form factor, but you, as the wearer of this product, you just see content, Weimer assured me. Just as you would see content if you held up a mobile phone or you put on a pair of glasses that made the content appear in the world. From the perspective of your body and your retina, it's just light on your retina, just like light on your retina right now. Safety implications of this are something that we obviously paid a lot of attention to, but it's a very safe product. But how is it a very safe product if there isn't a product yet, right? You started this whole article saying that they're still years away from having an actual prototype, and yet he already knows it's a very safe product that's passed regulations. Interesting. Mojo Vision is positioning its contact lens for customers and businesses, but first, it's focusing on people who are visually impaired or have low vision, or vision poor enough that glasses cannot fix it. That's because all contact lenses, smart or dumb, need to clear the Food and Drug Administration in the U.S. Mojo Vision has been granted the Breakthrough Device designation, which allows companies to fast-track development, assessment, and review for products that could help people with life-threatening or debilitating conditions. Though the FDA maintains it preserves the statutory standards for pre-market approval. So they've been able to sidestep regulations by saying that it's a device made to help sick people. To show off the capabilities of helping people with low vision, the team threw me into a dark hotel room filled with stop signs and various other items. I was handed a stick with a prototype Mojo lens and held it close to my eye. This one had an image sensor connected to it. Despite standing in almost pitch darkness, I could make out people in the room and the edges of the bed. I could even read the stop sign with ease. It was almost like using night vision. The image sensor showed me the real world, but the lens increased the contrast, highlighted edges, magnified objects, and performed a few other tricks to help me see in the dark. Ideally, it will help visually impaired users navigate their surroundings a lot easier. It was impressive. Mojo Vision is partnering with Vista Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired in Palo Alto, California, to connect with the nonprofit's clients and get input for the lenses during development. The company will also work with FDA experts to meet safety regulations. If you don't suffer from low vision, have a seat. If it takes a few years to get clearance on a device that works for the visually impaired, it will take a few more to make a smart contact lens for everyone else. And so everybody's asking me about my opinions on the debates. This is what I want to read to you when I saw the debate last night. This is what I wanted to read to you. I have another story I wanted to read to you as soon as I watched the debate last night. But let's just talk about the debate last night because it's funny. A lot of guys that I know that are Trump supporters are saying he lost the debate. It's very funny to me. Why did he lose the debate? Well, he came off too aggressive. Interesting. So let's go over it. Biden told him to shut up, called him a clown, called him a racist twice, and Trump's the aggressor. Or was Trump just asking really forceful questions that made Biden uncomfortable? Right? Directed at Chris Wallace, directed at Joe Biden, both the people who were debating him. It makes people uncomfortable, right? Because you see Joe Biden uncomfortable. And everybody's like, oh, what a train wreck. It was just so... And the way I see it is, well, I just went through all the things that Biden called Trump. Among other things, a liar, untrustworthy to run the vaccine program, etc., etc. Well, what kind of punches did Trump land if I'm saying Trump won this debate? Well, let's go through that. Let's see. He got Biden to say Antifa was just an idea and not an actual group, which was pretty stupid. At the very beginning of the debate, he cornered Biden into backing all the way off the manifesto that he signed with Bernie supporters whenever Bernie bent the knee to Biden like he did to Hillary and gave him his supporters. Biden completely marginalized that group. Then later, Trump hit him on law and order really hard. Biden had to say that he was for law and order, for police, and then was cornered into saying that he wants to redistribute funding, and which is essentially defunding the police. Then he got cornered into disavowing the Green New Deal. So he has two hits to the progressive side of his party in one debate. Number one, distancing himself from the Green New Deal. Number two, distancing himself from the manifesto with the Bernie bros. But overall, he won over the extremely low expectations that everyone in the country had for Biden. And I think that's where the perception's coming in. All those wins I just named for Trump, those were all Biden screw-ups that Trump kind of forced. But Trump also got to do some things that I found interesting, what he chose to do. And what he chose to do was just drop red pill after red pill after red pill as far as politics is concerned. He mentioned Hunter and Burisma, Hunter in China. He was able to bring up Obamagate. He talked about the spying, the wiretapping, and we have it all. He was able to bring up General Flynn. He was able to hit hard at the media and the unfair treatment and the da-da-da-da. And yeah, made him sound like a whiner. I know, I get it. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but as you go back and analyze the actual debate, what you'll see is that Biden threw a bunch of insults, got put on his heels a lot, got a couple of snide remarks in there, but other than that was no less interruptive, was no less of a pain in the ass, and generally had no ideas. He just kept accusing Trump of not having ideas the entire time. And it's funny, even though there's people who are floating around saying, oh, he lost this debate, nobody, and I mean nobody, is saying Chris Wallace played an objective role. Nobody. Even the people who say Trump lost the debate will tell you Chris Wallace was biased. And he was. As many interruptions as there were from Biden and Trump, Chris Wallace interrupted Trump over and over and over again. And then, when Trump asked Biden, name one police organization that supports you, and Biden couldn't, it was just dead air for a couple of seconds. And then Chris Wallace jumped in and said, I'm just going to move this along. I'm going to move this along. Why, Chris? Why are you going to move it along? Is that not a relevant question? Can you name one police organization that's backing you? No. Chris Wallace couldn't stand more than 5 seconds of empty silence on Joe's part. Well, we're just going to have to move on. Interesting. So about Chris Wallace. Peter Wallace, Chris Wallace's son, is the senior managing director, Blackstone Group. And if you guys don't know about Blackstone Group, that's a whole nother video. One that I don't have time to get into now. But suffice it to say, people ask me if he was connected to the deep state. His son works for Blackstone Group. I think that's pretty much all that I need to say. So here we go. This is State Congresswoman Ullman and Governor Wolf talking about face masks on a hot mic.
So Wendy, I'm going to take my mask off when I speak.
I will as well. I'm waiting so that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
So that it's on camera.
So that's the conversation. And it's pretty easy to follow along with since they put the words there, but there's something that they left off with the words, and I'm not sure why. Because if you listen closely, Governor Wolf kind of gives a chuckle, but then he says, that's good. That's good. Listen again.
So Wendy, I'm going to take my mask off when I speak.
I will as well. I'm waiting so that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Theater.
Okay.
Let's hear it one more time.
So that we can do a little political theater.
Okay.
So that it's on camera.
Aha, ha, ha. He. That's good. That's good. Masks are political theater. Keep our state locked down. Keep our people masked up. Economic depression in the state of Pennsylvania. That's good. What does political theater mean to you? Because to me, it sounds like these two know that masks are bullshit. And yet, they need people to see them in it for political theater. Interesting. How many thousands of people have died because of these lockdowns? Screw this guy. The state of Pennsylvania should be recalling his ass right now. That's good. That's good. Damn shame. I just don't know how any of these people eventually get held accountable. It's such a mess, you guys. This guy right here is responsible for so much loss of blood and treasure in his state. It is literally unbelievable. But as Obama so famously said, and Trump so famously quoted last night during the debate, elections have consequences. I hope the people of Pennsylvania have learned, because I've talked to an awful lot of small business owners, and it's starting to seem like they're learning. Which, if they're learning up here, whew. But anyways, guys, like, share, sub the channel. Any way to buy me a cup of coffee will be in the pinned comment below. And underneath that comment will be my links to all my articles, as per usual. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Out.